folks? Welcome in Seven Rivers Racing, KQEG TV, coming off another back-to-back racing weekend last weekend. I'm Dan Dyker as we get ready to recap what happened last weekend at Fountain City. That's the Mississippi Thunder Speedway, and another big night at the Crosse Fairgrounds Speedway. Hopefully the rain keeps us in check for this Friday night's races at Mississippi Thunder. Saturday night, well, the racers are going to be put aside except for the Hornets. We're going to be doing a lot of smashing, which we're going to tell you about here in a couple of minutes. Coming up on today's show, our last two interviews we did at the Winter Banquet last year. Four-time track champ Jason Bolster and Brian LeMoine, Hornet driver, is going to join us on the program. Let's get right to the highlights from Crosse Speedway last weekend. We're going to kick things off with the lacrosse late models. Coming back again last weekend was Seymour, Wisconsin's Ty Majeski. Now, last Friday night, he picked up his first ever win at Madison International Speedway. Came back and grabbed his second checkered flag in as many nights as he won the 25-lap late model feature Saturday night, and this one didn't come easy. You'll notice Brad Powell was always about a car length back. Steve Carlson was sitting right there as well. This went on for about 5 or 6 laps, and Ty told us during his post-race interview, didn't know how many more laps he could have put down. That car was slowly going away, and Brad Powell tried to do whatever he could to go over the top or up underneath of Powell or Majeski. Just not enough room there. You'll see as they head down into the corners, Majeski's going to take another checkered flag at lacrosse. Brad Powell will take second, Steve Carlson third, and Matt Henderson and Harley Jankowski of Sparta round out the top 5. So Majeski kind of hit or miss when he comes back to lacrosse. For Steve Carlson this year, 3 features, 2 seconds, and a third. Not too bad for lacrosse. To the sportsman we go, and the one car that's been awfully dominant this year is the Ka-Chow number 8, and that will be Nick Clements in the red and yellow machine. Likes the new changes that have been made this year. And this one got quite interesting. Bad Brad Worthen of Sparta said he burnt a wire right, I think it may have been right there. I'm not sure really what the wire was. I didn't hear that much. But, yeah, that may have led to the downfall here as he took Nick Clements door-to-door for about 7 laps as this one came down to the final laps. And Nick Clements, who set a track record in the Sportsman division earlier this year, solidified his lead atop the point standings with a win on Saturday night. Clements, also the fast qualifier in the division Saturday, had a 21.8 at about 90 miles per hour. Billy Martin of Madison found his way into the top 3 as well. Justin Mulliken was in there as well. So was Jeff Thompson and Jamie Dummer of Toma. Bad Brad Worthen just not enough steam right towards the end of that one to try to get his first feature win in a Sportsman in 2 years. The Thunder Stock's back on the action track quarter mile again, and it was a 2-time win this year for a lady that is really coming through the ranks in the Thunder Stocks. And this year, every time Jacinda Paff has run up front, well, she's had to hold off that orange car. That would be Andy Moore. Of course, Jacinda won, I think it was night number 2 at the Crosse Speedway, the action track quarter mile. And with the white flag to go, Andy Moore said, I'm going to try to jump to the outside and take care of the Durango Racing number 13. And tonight, well, Saturday night, I should say, it just wasn't going to happen. Paff stayed down in the inside lane, made Moore have to work from the outside. The last dash just wasn't there. So Jacinda Paff picks up win number 2 at the Crosse Speedway. Looking very nice this year, sitting in the top 3 in points. Street stocks were back out. Of course, everybody remembers the John Aaron flip over the tire, crash into the turn 2 wall here a couple of weeks ago. It destroyed his car, so he came back out with a new car, a 6-cylinder Chrysler, which he has labeled the Chrysler Deisler. Started in the back, worked his way to second, but was not able to catch your winner, Charles Schwabenbauer. He came out a couple of times last year. Thought it was interesting. His Pontiac Grand Prix right there. Love that paint job. The front of his truck is also painted like that, and Schwabenbauer gets his first win at lacrosse this year. Coming up this Saturday night, it's Smash-A-Rama, monster trucks, everything you can think of. We're going to be smashing, and motorcycle stuntmen are coming back out. The Hornets are out, figure 8 race, a boat race of destruction. If you like them that time of the year, everything gets crashed up. You want to be at Crosse Speedway at 7:30 on Saturday night. Of course, we'll have the replay for you here on KQEG TV. Next up, we're going to talk to Jason Bolster, won 4 track championships last year. We're going to give you a recap from Mississippi Thunder Speedway, and we're going to talk to Brian LeMoine. All coming up on this edition of 7 Rivers Racing.
Get ready for the Thunder!
The Mississippi Thunder Speedway.
Your Friday night racing destination.
Every Friday night.
Super stocks, modified.
600 mods.
Pure stocks, street stocks, B-mods.
It's racing excitement, dirt track style. Tickets $12 for adults, $10 for seniors. Students free with an ID. And this year, kids 17 and under free with an adult admission. Friday night racing starts at 7.
Bring on the Thunder!
Dirt track style at the Mississippi Thunder Speedway.
Highway 35 just north of Fountain City.
Some of the best moments in life happen at home. American Standard Heating and Air works smarter to make them all more comfortable.
Over $400 in rebates available on select American Standard systems. Call Carey Heating and Air Conditioning today for a free estimate.
Back at the Crosse Speedway. Welcome back, Seven Rivers Racing, KQEG TV. I'm Dan Dyker along with Rob Butterfield. A first-timer comes on to the TV program with us here. I've got to know Brandon LeMoine quite closely, I would say, over the past 3 years. His son Colton and I have a special relationship. He's one of my best junior race announcers at the Crosse Speedway. The double eight's coming back this year. Good to see you, man. How you been?
We've been good. We've been putting a lot of time in the car. Just getting ready to go. Pretty much.
Robert had a question for John Petrowski when we had him on the program, and I think this question fits you ideally. John's a veteran Hornet driver. He does not want to jump classes. He likes to do what he does because it's low budget, it's a lot of fun, and he can race part-time. You're one of the guys that you've really stepped up the Hornet racing program, and I tell a lot of folks, whether you're a late model driver or you're a Hornet driver at this speedway, you're a race car driver, period, and you take heart in your program.
Yeah, I take a lot of heart in my program. I get a lot of support out in the stands, and it's something I've always dreamt about doing, and I get fans up here and family, and just seeing people cheer and the fans are everything. I mean, we wouldn't be here doing this without fans and sponsors, and just it's something that once it's in your blood, it's never coming out.
Well, one of the things about keeping it in your blood, there has to be a fun factor too. It doesn't matter what class you run in, whether it's late models all the way down to the Hornets, Outlaws, it doesn't matter. It's the fun factor. How do you keep the fun factor in your garage all week long?
Well, a lot of thing for me is I have a lot of fun on the track, but I have a lot of fun off the track. The pits at La Crosse is something else. The camaraderie down there, if something's wrong, there's always somebody lending a hand. They're family down there. They're competitors, but when you get off the track, if something's wrong and you don't know, that somebody's there to lend a hand. And it's just, even if you're not racing, spending a night in the pits sometime is just, check it out. It's something else.
And you're one of these teams that you don't have 4 or 5 or 6 crew members working on your car. Of course, those folks remember Brandon LeMoine last year had I labeled it Black Betty, the black and white 88. You've got your father, which when I first talked to you at a bonfire here a couple of years ago, we were talking about your racing program, and you said first and foremost you would not be able to do one of your dreams without your dad.
That's it right there. Me and my dad, we enjoy doing it, and there ain't something, doing it with your dad is something else. I mean, you build a stronger friendship. It's lost for words. And seeing him, he enjoys it, and he's been around it for a long time. He helped Noodleman back when he was on his streak, and he enjoys it, and he loves being back at the track.
When you're talking about the closeness of everybody down in the pits, one of the things I love about working at the La Crosse Speedway is, the Hornet guys are here, and the Sportsman guys are parked over here, and late models are at one. Okay, so you've got those different groups. It's totally understandable. But when it comes time to someone braking, I have watched people from the Hornet portion of this track run to the late models and then vice versa. It doesn't matter what division you're in here. Everyone is here to help in one way, shape, or form. Yeah,
I mean, if you got a race car, whether it's a Hornet or a late model, anybody's willing to lend a hand, and that's what's great about it. You feel, you got one pit man, and really you got a few hundred pit crew members sitting down in them pits.
Excellent point. Yeah.
Almost anybody lend a hand to you if you needed it.
And that seems to be indicative to this sport. I mean, you don't see professional football or baseball, if they got an equipment failure, you don't see the other team helping each other out. But you always see that in racing, specifically here in lacrosse, and that's always been a good thing. I got a quick question for you. How did you get started? I mean, obviously you talked about your dad being involved with Noodlemans and whatnot, but what drove you to get in that car?
Well, it's always been a dream of mine, and one night down at Robin's Nest, sitting and talking with the Robin's Nest guys, I told him my dream, and he was all about it. He wanted to help me fulfill my dream, and we found a car. I was at the track, actually, in the bathroom, using the bathroom, and I told somebody I was looking for a car. He gave me a phone number that night. I called it the next day, and we picked the car up the next week.
More conversations happen in the men's room, I'll tell you what.
I'm telling you.
That's exactly where
Good
it
and bad. This is a good one.
Just keep your eyes forward.
All right. So I saw the car last year, got to know you, got to know Tiffany, got to know Colton, and I really got to know the color of the car. You're going pink this year, and I was watching you pull in the track as we were doing another interview. Talk about the color change, because, man, does that stick out. I like that.
We had a little bit of orange in it last year, and we thought that was bright. And then some little girl last year was a fan that I didn't even know. She said, "Why don't you have any pink in your car?" So we were going to put a little pink in it. And then we kind of got to drawing, and we just kept going with it. And I think it looks sharp. It
Fan
turned out
influence,
nice.
that's good.
Bad Brad Worthen was the first one to really come out here with a bold, solid pink and the checkered scheme that he had in his Thunder stock, and then, of course, went to that with Sportsman, though I think he's changing that this year. I like that, though. I mean, you got the new race apparel going on. Look at you, you've got hoodies smacking off this year.
We got it.
And before you answer that, another credit I give these Hornet guys out here is because everyone says it's the low end, it's the low scale. No, a stock car driver is a stock car driver. One of the biggest things I love about what you guys do is the attention. You pay attention to your cars. You guys are almost wrapping these things. They look solid. They look fantastic. I saw a sneak peek of Sammy Linehan's, and hers is outstanding this year. But the racing apparel and watching where the groups of drivers sit out here just adds to this racetrack.
Yeah, it does. It really does. And I personally think where my fans sit is the best place to sit. We're right next to the Thompson crew, which he's always got a big fan crew, and we get along with them nice. And getting apparel out there, you're putting your sponsors out there more. Everybody that has
Big
a shirt
time.
on there, your sponsor's on there. Anybody sees it, it's fun.
Talking about sponsors, who you got for 2015?
We got Security Boss Manufacturing. We got Robin's Nest Bar and Grill, Kling's Designs, morepet.com, and Affordable Beds and More from Missouri.
Biggest question people want to know is Colton going to be my announcer a couple of times this year?
I hope he's announcer every night, because every night he's been announcer, I've won a race. So.
Oh, that's right. I remember you telling me that last year.
I
Yeah.
think we're 3 for 3 or 2 for 2, and it's keep them coming.
So he's got fans choosing his car colors. His son is the one that's enabling him to win races. Look at the magic that's made out here.
Yeah, it's awesome. The kids love it. I put myself in their shoes all the time, thinking when I was a little kid watching these cars go around this track was just.
There you go.
It's the best thing you
They
can
look
do.
up to you.
888, Brandon LeMoine. You'll see him back with the Ants Complete Pest Control Hornets this year. Getting to be a fan favorite here at the La Crosse Fairgrounds Speedway. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you, guys.
Get ready for the Thunder,
The Mississippi Thunder Speedway.
your Friday night racing destination.
Every Friday night.
Super stocks, modifieds,
600 mods.
pure stocks, street stocks, B-mods.
It's racing excitement, dirt track style. Tickets $12 for adults, $10 for seniors. Students free with an ID. And this year, kids 17 and under free with an adult admission. Friday night racing starts at 7.
Bring on the Thunder.
Dirt track style at the Mississippi Thunder Speedway.
Highway 35 just north of Fountain City.
Some of the best moments in life happen at home. American Standard Heating and Air works smarter to make them all more comfortable.
Over $400 in rebates available on select American Standard systems. Call Carey Heating and Air Conditioning today for a free estimate.
We are back. Seven Rivers Racing. Want to thank Jason Bolster for joining us on the program, and good luck to him in the Outlaws division this year. To the Mississippi Thunder Speedway we go. Here is your Friday night recap. We're going to start things off in the third mile with the USRA Modifieds and two-time track champ Jacob Blees getting it done again, and he worked his way through the field and just put everybody behind him. The 24, Brad Rates, who also had to work his way through the field, had caught the second spot momentarily. But Blease, well, you can tell why he's won 2 track championships. He knows how to get it done. This class was awfully loud, about 88 mile per hour. You can see there in turns 1 and 2 how black that track was getting. It was really starting to take down the tires as the night had gone on. Former track champs Lucas Schott and John Daly both shared heat race wins before finishing 5th and 7th, respectively, at the end of that feature. So that was USRA Modifieds. To the USRA B Modifieds we go. The car count has been between 25 and 32. It's been very exciting this year to have that many Modifieds on the track at the same time. And Eric Cans, the former track champion, look at this one here. This was close for quite the while until Cans finally got out and got some clean air. And he just did away with the rest of the field, a 25-car field before we got the checkered flag. Eric Cans started 10th, had to battle the competition, took advantage of bad luck by others to get to the front and stay there. Lucky John Van Minsel likewise came from the 5th row to a second-place finish ahead of Ben Modry, Casey Knutson, and Philip Dunbar. So again, this class has been awfully exciting throughout the year, and a checkered flag going to drop right now for Eric Cans. So another successful night for Eric. To the let's go to the late models. A brand new class started this year, very inexpensive. A lot of drivers are loving what it's not costing them to race this class. Top speeds were about 95 mile per hour this past Friday night at Mississippi Thunder Speedway. And for Lance Hofer, a miscorrection on night number 1. He's not looked back. He's picking up 3 feature wins now. We had the highest car count this year, 14 for the late models in a brand new growing class. And Lance has just got this done. The all-new USRA Limited late models, Kurt Lumen led early, couldn't keep Hofer at bay. He settles in for a second-place finish, just ahead of Troy Hovey, who's finished every feature this year inside the top 4. So you want to talk about the point standings? It's Lance Hofer, and you've got 4 top 4s for Troy Hovey. These guys are getting it done. And again, this is the fastest, most inexpensive class at MTS, though they're late models. You would think, wait, that's the other way around. Not at all. Well, so does Super Stocks. Tommy Richards has just owned this class for the past couple of years. I love the style of car from this class because it takes you back to the 70s and 80s when the old ASA used to run, and I used to watch them at the Sheboygan County Fairgrounds. Great race here. Tommy Richards had to work his way through the field as well to pick up win number 3. Came ahead of Kurt Myers, who that number 1 is always. He can start from the back row and still win a race. Not this night here. Tommy Richards takes care of it. Jay Aricchio and heat race winner Dan Salke rounded out the field. And for Richards, because of the roll forward nature of the bonus payout, he pocketed another $200 on top of the regular paycheck. And those guys love to run with the extra money. Of course, Jay Aricchio and his company and Jeff Brower throw extra money into the pot for these drivers to pick up at the end of the night. The MTS Sportsman Division, we've talked about the Grocery Getter so far this year, and the Grocery Getter finally got it done. After the races were done Friday night, we found out that Derek Sutton's Grocery Getter, this station wagon, is the first ever to visit the MTS Victory Lane with a Sportsman and a station wagon. This was a great race. You see the sun was settling, the crowd was settling in. A late race pass awarded him the Sportsman win. He'd been close the first 4 weeks, but Friday night he finally put the Grocery Getter in, and he had to get past 2-time feature winner Steve Dwyer. You see it right there. Dwyer's in the 7 car. Dwyer had to settle for second. Heat race winner Jeremy Oakes finished 3rd. Here come the accelerators to the floor. Sutton grabs the feature race win. That's a nice-looking car if you get a chance to snap a picture of that while you're up at MTS. The 600 mods, the Touring Series came through MTS for the first time in 2015. I think they make 3 stops this year, and the car counts were about 25-26, which makes another huge feature. As you can see them just rip-roaring down. And I always like to make mention, these are 600 cc modified motors, and they're very small, but they're one of the fastest at the dirt track, averaging about 86 to 88 mile per hour. And Chris Gilbertson celebrated the win tonight. There you see him with his 4G. He finished ahead of heat race winners Kurt Lumen and John Griffin and Jacob Steer. Of course, we had 4 heat races with these little ones. And man, they are a show. You can watch those on any kind of a dirt track, and they will put on a show for you. I love watching those 600 mods. This weekend, Friday night, if we don't rain out, it's going to be USRA Modifieds, limited late models, B mods, but so does Super Stocks, 600 mods, the MTS Sportsman, and the MTS Hornets are going to be all on the docket again. You can always find out more information at MississippiThunder.com. Got a couple of big $10,000 shows coming up with the USRA B Modifieds and then the big Bayman Law Challenge at the end of the year. Make sure you write down those schedules. Also, LacrosseSpeedway.com. You're going to want to watch Smash-A-Rama this weekend and Friday night, July 3rd. It's going to be the Great Northern Sportsman Series and the Tundra Super Late Models. So get the calendars out and mark those days down. Coming up, we're going to talk to Brandon LeMoine, Hornet driver, the number 88 of the Crosse Fairgrounds Speedway. That on Seven Rivers Racing.
Get ready for the Thunder.
The Mississippi Thunder Speedway.
Your Friday night racing destination.
Every Friday night.
Super Stocks, Modifieds,
600 mods.
Pure Stocks, Street Stocks, B-Mods.
It's racing excitement, dirt track style. Tickets $12 for adults, $10 for seniors. Students free with an ID. And this year, kids 17 and under free with an adult admission. Friday night racing starts at 7.
Bring on the Thunder.
Dirt track style at the Mississippi Thunder Speedway.
Highway 35 just north of Fountain City.
Some of the best moments in life happen at home. American Standard Heating and Air works smarter to make them all more comfortable.
Over $400 in rebates available on select American Standard systems. Call Carey Heating and Air Conditioning today for a free estimate.
Welcome back, Seven Rivers Racing, KQEG TV. I'm Dan Diker. It's Champions Banquet night with the La Crosse Fairgrounds Speedway. The stars have come out. We are full here tonight, both in the bar area at the Stony Creek Inn and inside the banquet. We're going to be handing out awards like you wouldn't believe here in a couple of moments. You know, in all my tenures at the La Crosse Fairgrounds Speedway, I've seen track champions once and twice in the same year, almost 3 times, but never have I seen somebody nail down 4 track championships in the same year. Our next guest is the Thunderstock champion, the Bud Dash champion, the Novelty champion, and the Figure 8 champion, and that would be racing Jason Bolster. Jason, how are you?
Very good.
Man, that was a lot for me to talk about right there. I know when you started 2015, you were 2014. You didn't think you were going to knock all those 4 divisions down.
No, it felt pretty awesome, though.
You're one of those that, like when we were talking to Brad, you don't come with a lot of money. You don't come with a huge crew. It's usually you, yourself, and you got it done.
Yeah, I pretty much run it out of my own pocket and just keep running hard.
Now, how long have you been at the La Crosse Fairgrounds Speedway?
Oh, I started my first year there, or half a year, 1997. My first full year is 1998. Finished 8th in points. In 99, I finished 3rd in points. In 2000, I was first champion. Won my first championship.
So it's been 14 years since that last championship.
Yeah. And in 2000, I won championship, dash, and novelty.
And this year you just kind of took it a little bit further. You got the Figure 8s and you got the Figure 8s.
Yeah, Figure 8s, that could be a little dangerous if you get T-boned or T-bone somebody else. You don't want to hurt no one in that race because it could happen. And
you know, let's talk about the Thunderstock Championship. Knowing the drivers that are in that class, that has got to be one of the hardest classes to nail down a championship with all that talent out there.
Yeah, you got to keep a good head about it. If you get mad, you just don't bring it over to the next week. Else just wrecks everything.
And it's one of those kind of divisions when you're racing on the quarter-mile track, you don't have a lot of room to move. You expect to get rubbed. You expect to trade some pain. I mean, it's going to happen on that track.
Yeah, it's pretty tight out there. Something happens and just happens. You just deal with it.
And for someone like yourself, I mean, a lot of our Thunderstocks come from Sparta, and the Lockingtons and the Paffs and the Moores and the are all coming out of Sparta. So not only do you have to deal with them at the racetrack, but if something happens, you got to deal with them away from the racetrack.
Yeah, if whereas happens at the track stays at track. You just don't bring your anger out anywhere else.
Talk about what it took to nail down a championship this year. Very hard drivers. Ron White came out, did a nice job. The Lockington and Paff had a nice job. Moors are going to be the Moors. I mean, that was a tough class to run through this year.
Yeah, it was. You just got to expect whatever the other driver's going to do. Just try to figure out.
And then you throw somebody in like Jordan Myers, who's also hard charging you. I mean, you guys went nip and tuck for the past 2 seasons, and then you throw in a Dakota Miller who comes back every now and then. I mean, and it's one of the most confusing classes to actually go, yeah, this guy's going to win a championship this year.
Yeah, I just went into it like have nothing to lose. I got 2 championships and going to go after my 3. If I get my 3, I get my 3.
Talk about the novelty. That's pretty much a hit and miss kind of a thing.
Yeah, that's like a guessing racing there.
You're getting better at pulling toilet paper out of porta potties, though.
Yeah.
Figure eights, that's another one. I mean, anybody that has a good night can win a race, but once you start getting through the tees, I mean, anybody can get knocked out on any given night.
Yeah, it don't matter if you start up front, back, or middle. Just getting through there at a good momentum. Without slowing, you got to slow up a little bit, but you just got to keep watching.
And of course, you also won the Bud Dash this year, and that's like a smaller big race inside of a big race.
Yeah, that's...
Instead of going your normal 15 for a feature, you're only going that Mad Dash for 5 or 6 laps. You're on the accelerator almost the entire time.
Yeah, pretty much. Wherever you start out at, just got to keep looking ahead.
Talk about who you like to thank for getting you out there and helping you out with everything you accomplished in 2014.
Barron's Club, Four Corners, Glass on Wheels. My girlfriend, Tammy, she puts up a lot. And thanks to all the fans out there and other Thunderstock drivers.
And another thing a lot of folks don't realize is the schedule you had this year, because your work schedule changed. And a lot of nights you were coming off of a 12-hour shift and not going home and getting dinner, not going home and getting a nap. You were getting off a 12-hour shift, loading up and hitting the racetrack.
Yeah, it looks extreme, but I knew what I was getting myself into. That was kind of like an accomplishment or something.
They say hard work pays off.
Yes, it does.
So I'm used to watching you race for as many years as I've been at the Crosse Speedway. What does Jason Bolster do now that he can't run Thunderstocks this year?
Might run a few Outlaws events and run at another track close by.
And we'll see you on the hill with a Bud Light.
Yep.
Kind of figured so. Jason Bolster, 4-track championships here in 2014. You'll see him back out there again in 2015. And again, congratulations. What an accomplishment that was.
Thank you.
Well, once again, I want to thank Brandon LeMoine and Jason Bolster for joining us in the program. That's the last of our banquet type and early winter, or actually I should say early spring type interviews we had. From now on, we're going to be at the racetracks. We'll be in studio. I know Corey Jankowski is one that can't wait to get back in here with all these cranberries he's going to coat this counter with. He's getting ready for that July 3rd Tundra Super Late Model race at the LaCrosse Speedway. You can find the entire schedule, lacrossespeedway.com. On Twitter, it's at LAX Speedway. Also, MississippiThunder.com. The whole schedule's on there. Pictures, points, highlights, the whole shebang. You can find Dan Bailey's nice Twitter handles on there if you want to get some more information. And also, coming up Saturday from 1 until 2, it's the Mississippi Thunder Race Report on 580 WKTY. Doc Dials and I will entertain you on the radio. And, of course, we've got Facebook. You can find the TV show and the racing radio show on Facebook. Look us up, add us, and we've got some contests coming around for you in the next couple of weeks. That's going to do it for the show. Next weekend, more dirt, more asphalt, and a lot more program. I'm Dan Diker. This is Seven Rivers Racing, K2EG TV.